to go on Fours on Facebook. We usually have like a 15-minute break, not break, introduction to the show. We call it the pre-show. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to go right into the regular show. What do we have, about 5 more minutes? So we're just going to shoot the breeze. Introduce you to Sherry up there. Can they see Sherry? Okay, because it's not on the screen. I'm just asking. You folks know that Veronica is the boss when it comes to this show. In fact, we were just talking about it and how Veronica's personality changes when she's out in the store. She's Miss Melba Toast, and whatever you say, she does. But when she closes the door to her office, where we are, she's a whole different person. To my left is Sherry. You all know Sherry from being on the show before. I think this is probably your second or third show with us over the years. And Sherry and I are going to do the show together. So now I'm trying to put it off until all the audience is here. We're going to talk about some other things. So the auctions that we've had have been successful, and we really appreciate it. I pulled a real boner. Last week we had orders for birds, and 3 different orders. I shipped them. And if David is watching, my heartfelt apology. I just completely forgot to ship his birds. I had them. I'm not sure what happened. I tried to explain it to his wife, Liz, and she understands. So instead of shipping them last Tuesday, I'm going to ship them this Monday with the Thanksgiving day off. Ship on instead of Tuesday, I ship on Monday. You see how I'm a professional and stumbling over my words? Okay. You think they'll be able to hear you through that mouse?
I don't know.
You want to talk about that mouse? Is that part of it when we get to it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's about 2:59, 45 seconds, as I can see it up there. We're going to open up the show. I want to talk about something that I've talked about a couple of times and never got around to it, so I thought I'd do it today. It's just give you folks an idea of how we, or myself and my wife, got to where we are today. I want to tell you about the history, and it's not long, about Jerry getting into pigeons and how it all worked. When I was in elementary school, I think I was probably in the 5th or 6th grade, because that's as high as you could go. So being very, very small, when I was 6 years old, I weighed about 79 pounds. And being the small guy, I was like the guy that everybody talks to. He got the sand kicked in his face all the time. Well, that was me. There were a couple of really ruffians who would wait for me after school and basically want to kick the hell out of me. But one good thing is I could run very, very fast. So whenever they were there and I saw them, even if they tried to hide, because I was looking for them and I knew they wanted to catch me. So being fast, one day they started to chase me. And I was a ways in front of them, and I ducked into between 2 houses, and they ran past. They didn't see me. And when I went between these 2 houses, I had never been that direction before. Lo and behold, as I went up a hill, looked to the left, there was this big 2-story pigeon coop. And it was my first time I'd ever had any thoughts of keeping pigeons. So the guy's name was John Higginbottom, and John just happened to be there that day. And he saw me looking at the birds. He says, "You want to take a closer look?" He took me into his pigeon coop and showed me, and I still know he had long-faced tumblers, fantails, and racing homers. Now, that would have been about 74 years ago. 74 years ago, and I still remember the day I got introduced to pigeon hobby. So, my brother and I both got interested. I got interested first, brought him home. My brother Bobby got interested too. and both of us have had pigeons pretty much all our lives. Bob was no longer has them, but he kept them until he just couldn't do it physically anymore. So what happened was, after a number of years being in a hobby, we met a man named Ray LeBlanc. Now, Ray lived a little bit from us, maybe an hour's drive or so, and we were talking to him at a pigeon show, and he said, "Hey, you guys want to buy my business?" I said to him, "I'd like to buy your business, Ray, but don't have any money." And we were probably in our early 20s then. And Ray, God bless him, said, "Hey, why don't you just take this business called LeBlanc Pigeon Farm, and I'll give it to you. You come up, get everything I've got, and you pay me when you can." I don't think that happens too much, especially in this world. So we took him up on it, and we started a business, and we called it Gagne Brothers Pigeons. Now, up in Maine, it was Gagne, but down here it's Gagne. But anyways, Bobby and I started the business. We ran it for a number of years, and then in 1959, Bobby went into the service in 1957, Air Force. I followed him, and I went into the Air Force in 1959. And we pretty much had to get out of the birds, although I did have family, and they took care of them as best they could. Then when I got out of the service in about 1963, got right back into pigeons, and we ran Gagne Brothers Pigeons from Biddeford, Maine, my hometown. From Biddeford, Maine in 1967, I moved from where I was living, and I moved to a town, and if you know anything about Maine, I moved to Old Orchard Beach. It was still Gagne Brothers Pigeons. Then, for whatever reason, I think I bought my first house with my wife at the time, so we moved to Bar Mills. All of this time, both Bobby and I were working regular jobs as well as running the pigeon business. So in about 1969, 70, my job, the truck was a truck garage, and they closed, and it was a trucking company, and they had offices in Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh, and they had an office available in Florida. My wife at the time was from southwestern Pennsylvania, so that's where we moved to. We moved to southwestern Pennsylvania, and the first place we found to live, and we moved our business, was a little two-bedroom house near the airport in Coriopolis, or Moon Township, I guess they called it. And it wasn't a year later, we got a knock on the door, and the airport authority said, "I'm sorry, but we're going to take your house for an expansion of the runway." So after less than a year in Moon Township, we moved to a little bitty town out in the country called Clinton, Pennsylvania. And I find it interesting, in Clinton, Pennsylvania, we were there. But when Foy's started by Frank Foy, it started in Des Moines, Iowa, and then moved to Clinton, Iowa. So 2 different Clintons, 2 different states. So we were in the Clinton area for 2 years. Then I got a promotion, and the company I was working with asked me to move into management, and I did, and they moved me to Washington, Pennsylvania. We call it Little Washington. I was there for less than a year. The company I was with promoted me again, and I had to move to Allison Park. I hope you're writing all this down in case you want. If you got it all, Sherry, I'm almost done. From Allison Park, I actually sold Gagne Brothers Pigeons and was out of pigeons altogether. We did operate the business from Allison Park. I sold it to a man across the street, and then he closed it down in 3 or 4 years. But right around 1999, I was a salesman for a company, the same company, in Baden, PA, and I happened to look. I was on a roof, measuring for a roof, and I happened to look across the yard. He had a big fence, but I could see down into his yard, and he had racing homers. And I said to myself, I'm not going there. I know what's going to happen. So I didn't. I sold the people the roof and all of that. And I had to go back the next day. Well, the guy with the pigeons looking over the fence, or, hey, he says, yes, sir. He says, can you come over here and measure my roof? It's the way things happen. I walked over, and when you're a salesman, you always look for something that you have in common with the potential customer. So I said, I used to have pigeons a long time ago. And we looked at his racing harbors and we had a talk. And I talked to him about the roof, gave him the price for the roof. And I says to him, I'll tell you what, you buy the roof for me today, and I'll buy a pair of your pigeons. Well, he sold me 2 pair of pigeons. It cost me $200, but I sold a $6,000 roof, and so it worked out okay. Brought the pigeons home. We had absolutely no room for them, no cage, no nothing. And I built a little chicken wire cage to put the birds in, and wasn't a year later, I opened up a company called Jerry's Pigeon Supplies, and Jerry's Pigeon Supplies was only open for a short time, a year or so. I got a call from a man in Minnesota, and he was the owner of Foy's Pigeon Supplies. And he says, young man, I've been watching, I don't want to make this too long. I've been watching you. I'd like to sell my business. Would you be interested in it? The funny thing is, and I'll go back a little bit now, we're going to have a long show today. I wish you wouldn't talk so much so I can get this story in. When I was in Bar Mills, Maine, Charles Foy, the owner of Foy's Pigeon Supplies, drove up my driveway when we were Gagne Brothers and got out and he says, would you want to buy my business? I was in my early 20s and I couldn't do it, didn't have the money, heck, nothing. So he just stopped to say hi and had heard about Gagne Brothers. So, where was I?
I don't know, you talk too fast.
No, I just want to know whether you're listening. You ought to hear Veronica talk. She really talks fast. So anyway, we from Allison Park, I moved the pigeon business to North Sewickley, Pennsylvania. And
that's when you bought Foy's.
That's when I bought Foy's. I told this story, but if you ever want to know the story about how I ended up buying Foy's, I'll tell you. But we did end up buying Foy's, and we ran the business from North Sewickley with the Beaver Falls zip code, but North Sewickley. Then we bought a house. It doesn't matter. But anyways, we ended up there, and then we moved here.
That's right.
Whew. How long did that story take? It didn't take that long. It took like 8 minutes. Just seemed like 20, 25. Do you have your agenda?
Yeah, you're on number 2, remember?
Oh, yeah. I've introduced Sherry, and we've been getting a lot of calls, and it's really a compliment to Gina. People have been asking, what happened to Gina? Where is Gina? Well, Gina decided to take a different direction in her life. That's the best way I can possibly explain it. We're still family. She's still my daughter. Vicky was over there the other night. We're just fine. But she wanted to try something else as best I can have it. Her and I had no big fight. We just she parted ways. So if I can talk Sherry into it, I really had to talk to her hard about doing the show. She really didn't want to do it, but I know she did a good job when she filled in before. So if she'll stay, I'll make sure that she has $1,000 bonus in her checking.
Did you hear that, Kim? Are you watching?
Are you going to push that thing down your mask, or are you going to
I
keep it
am.
on? Okay. Well, when you get to whatever. Okay. I told you about Gina, and I hope Gina's watching. And we're going to take your questions. Why don't we do this? This is kind of the way we work. You read the question, and I answer. Okay. So before we get to where you are, let's take a Spanish question.
Well, it just says, hi, Jerry and Sherry. I see Sherry is wearing her mask, and Jerry is wearing his chin diaper.
I was drooling trying to catch it all. Oh, you like that better? I don't. Okay, anyway.
Okay. And this is from Travis. Can you give a refresher on what you should do before pairing birds?
Well, Travis, answer this question. Come back to us. Did you separate your birds after breeding season? All right, Olympia. Well, I'm asking Travis to send in an answer to the question.
Oh, okay. This is from Olympia. Hi. Got the African owls. Very nice birds. Thanks, Jerry.
Oh, thank you. Those birds, the African owls, were bred by, sent in by, and I think he bred them, Tim Heinrich, who is the secretary of the National Pigeon Association and a very, very well-known breeder. There was a little bit of a confusion on the African owls. The confusion was mostly my fault, as things usually are. One person did win the bid, and we sent those birds, but it turned out another person had bid the same amount, so it was our confusion. So if that person is watching, I spoke to Tim, and he said he will have another pair of African owls available in the next week or two. And if that lady is still interested, the African owls we sold were $200 plus $50. No, yeah, $50 shipping with the box. So if that person happens to be watching, we are going to have another pair of African owls.
Okay, this is from Jack. Is there anything different between red or gray pigeon grit mixtures other than color?
No, to the best of my knowledge, the answer is no. But many years ago, for years, almost all grit was red. I don't know the history and I don't know why. But from a nutritional standpoint, they both are the same and they both have anise oil in them. So, no, it makes no difference. But I mentioned this, there are a lot of people who want pigeon grit who aren't able to find it in their area. So if you're in that situation, I remind you, Foy's for years and years. In fact, before we bought the business, this would go back almost 45 years ago. The man who owned Foy's in Minneapolis came up with a formula, and we sell 5-pound bags of grit concentrate. You go to your local Agway or whatever and buy a bag of chicken grit, usually 50 pounds, and this 5-pound bag of the grit concentrate, if you've got something like a cement mixer, you can put it in that and mix it all together. If not, put it in a box and pour the grit and then pour the concentrate on top of it, mix it all up, and you've got all the nutritional value from a chicken grit in something that you have put the pigeon grit concentrate on. See how I still talk fast?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You up or am I up?
I'm up.
Oh, okay.
This is Travis. He's replying, yes, I separated my birds between seasons.
Okay, Travis, I'm going to make a couple of maybe just not sure thing, but I don't know how many birds you separate. But if it's just a few, let's say 6 pair, 8 pair, something like that, what I'd like to do if it's going to, assuming your nest boxes have been out, they have not had any way to get into the nest boxes or they won't. I like to do it 1 pair at a time, and it won't take long. Those birds have been separated. If you want to keep the same pair, you catch the hen, you catch the cock, and put it in another section. That's the way I did it. In the section is where the nest bowls were. If you don't have the ability to do that, then block all your nest boxes up except for one. Let that 1 pair in that loft, a section of your loft or your whole loft, and within 2 or 3 days, those birds will have picked the loft, the coop. One more time. Help me, Jerry. Oh, your name's Sherry. I'm sorry. The nest box, that's what I was trying to say. They'll pick that nest box, put some straw in it, and I like to toss a little bit of straw on the floor. and they'll start building a nest within a week. So they have already picked out their nest box. Pick another nest box as far away from the first one, like if there's layers down here and up here, you want to move them around, because open up the next one, and you don't want it right next to the first pair. I hope I'm making myself clear, because the first pair, if you open up a nest box right next to them, they may fight as to who really owns both those nest boxes. So from top to bottom, you're going to open up a nest box. So you're going to do it that way until all of your birds, your pairs, are mated up. The other way is if you have a big enough loft and really don't care, you have all the same breed, then just open it up, open all your nest boxes up, and let them choose their mates. But if you have multiple breeds, makes it very, very difficult. I hope I haven't confused you, Travis, but I commend you for separating your birds. People who don't separate their birds, and sometimes they can't, but you are a step ahead of them in separating your birds. Your birds are ready to mate. When you don't separate them, they're going to start mating before you even want them to mate in cold weather, or that kind of thing. So you're better off always to separate your birds when you have the opportunity. Your turn.
No more. Okay, well then I am going to bring to your attention. Unfortunately, the Iowa show has been canceled. So has the Lancaster and Reading show. But we do have new dates for next year, and hopefully this will be a lot better. December 3rd, 4th, and 5th is the Iowa show for next year. And Lancaster will be January 13th through the 15th. Also, I would like to explain we are running a Black Friday sale, which actually ends tomorrow. I don't know. All orders were supposed to be online. And the 2.5 pound pigeon builder was $10. 5.5 pound was $22. And the 3 pound bath salts were $11. So I would rush, make our phones ring to get that sale in for them great bargains.
Yeah, they are a good price if you check our selling price. And the way the show fell, we weren't able to share that with you. So you can go online and order until the end of tomorrow.
Yes.
And then we're going to have another sale.
Yes, starting the 20 pre-Black Friday sale, 22nd through the 26th, will be 25% off the Orego stem. Which did you ever talk about that?
We've talked about the product before, and we sold a lot of it, but then we couldn't get it. Right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, and we have it in again, but I don't know if it's exactly the same.
To the best of my knowledge,
it is.
It is the same company. It's just that they couldn't bring it into the country, and they got through that, and now it is available. And we have it in stock.
Okay. It's all you.
Oh, it's me. Am I number 5? No, I'm number 6.
Nope, you're 7.
I'm 7.
Pay attention.
Well, 7. I'm not 7. Anyway, what I want to do, we talked about this a number of times. I'm going to show you a trap that we brought in from Belgium, pigeon. Well, I call it a pigeon trap, but really it isn't. I hope you can read between the lines. Yeah, it's a 3-section trap, and I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to show how it works. I've been looking for this kind of trap for years, and
It's not a pigeon trap?
Well, it's not a pigeon trap.
Oh.
When I explain it, you'll understand why I'm saying that.
Okay.
But I've been looking for it for years and years, and I was going through a catalog of one of our suppliers, and I see they added it to their line, and it really does fit a need. So let me show it to you.
We're going to have to move again.
Well, let me know, Veronica, whether they can see it. Thank you. Okay.
What? This?
Gonna pull it back.
You're good.
I can't see it, but okay.
Is it the same product? I'm
Okay.
in the national sales manager of
What he's saying is you just spoke about the oregano stem,
Oh,
and that's the gentleman that sells it to us. And if he has any questions at all, or if a customer has any question, they can do it on the show or they can contact us, and John will explain it during the show if we have a question about the um, don't mind me, the oregano stem. Hey, John, thank you very much. I wasn't aware that you were watching our show. All right. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the trap. It's a rather big trap. I don't know exactly what it is, but it has to be over 36 inches, right around 36 inches. And it's brand new. It's made out of wire, very heavy wire. And the thing about it is all the wire is painted with a very expensive gloss paint to keep it from rusting. So, the way this works is the trap, there's little red buttons, you can see them here, almost looks like a snap-on band. You take those off, if I can get them off. Take this off. Now, this is a door where you actually put one or two pigeons right here in the middle. And then you close it, and it's lockable. You can put those little red buttons right back on, like this. Get to it, Jerry. All right. Close it, and it's locked. Pigeon can't get out. Now, if you're going to leave it in there day after day, you may of course, want to put some water and feed in there. But if you're going to load the trap, so to speak, every day, then no need to put anything in here. The bird can go all day. We ship pigeons every week, and the birds have no feed and water, and sometimes they don't get there for 3 days. So what I'm saying is be sure to take care of the bird that's in here and try to keep it out of direct sunlight because it gets hot. Now, here's what makes this trap very interesting. Here, what you do is I'm doing this backwards, but you lay this. You set the trap. This same door configuration is on the other side of the trap. So there's one here too. Can they see that, Veronica? Okay, so all I'm going to do is see how easy it is to set the trap. Bird's here, and the bird is going to attract predators. Okay? You know what a predator is? It could be a hawk or a raccoon or something like that. But basically, it's not for raccoons. My God, you might even catch a hawk in here. I never really thought of that. Did you think of that?
I have not.
No, hawks are a real problem. And people have asked me for the last 21 years, what do I do about the hawks? I want to caution you. If by chance you accidentally catch a hawk, maybe you're trying to catch some other kind of a cat or a small predator or something, but if you do catch a hawk, and there's a good chance you will because they're attracted to your bait bird. So if you do happen to accidentally catch a hawk or two hawks, I want you to be aware that killing hawks is a federal offense. If you get caught, the fine is huge. So if you do accidentally catch a hawk, there's a handle here, and the way it works is a hawk or any bird would walk in here and touch that. There's a little bar there. They touch that, and you can see it drops right down, and you've got your bird or whatever you've caught in there. If you do catch a hawk, what I'm telling you is take it down the road somewhere in a wooded area or a park or whatever.
Far away.
Pardon?
Far away, because they'll fly right back.
Far away, because they're territorial. But you take it away and let it go live and give it a new home Now, you might want to talk to a game warden, and I did myself, and I asked them about what can I do about a hawk, and he said, Jerry, if the hawk is bothering you and killing your birds, you have right to get rid of it. Now, I couldn't shoot a hawk in my particular area, which is what he was saying, because my houses are so close on all four sides of me. So in the past, I've had them come right into my loft. If they do, I put on heavy gloves or go out dark at night, catch them, take them down the road and let them fly away. So it's a great trap. It's a 3-section trap. You put the bait in here with a pigeon or 2 pigeons or anything you want, and you open up your trap. I'm doing this backward, but there we go. Trap set. Anybody can do that. You touch this and any questions? Be glad to take them. It sells for $84. We have a limited supply. I didn't know whether it would be good sellers or not because we have other traps. So we do have this in stock, and if you order it, we'll ship it out pretty much the same day. I saw Sherry, you were packing one of these today or something close to it, weren't you? And she was, that's it, not struggling. She wished she were doing something else because they're hard to pack, I guess is what I'm saying. We don't have a box this size, but they go out and we're very, very careful and ship them so that they arrive at your home undamaged. Okay,
All right,
finally got that out of the way.
and I have a question from Tracy. How long before pairing up do you run a course of meds, and what meds do you recommend?
I'm so glad, so glad. I think that's a planted question. Maybe I called Tracy and asked him to ask that. Did you do that?
I did.
You did. Well, we now have available, free of charge, we have programs. Sunday through Saturday, Sunday through Saturday. They're usually 8-week programs, 16-week programs. What we have is pre-breeding. That would be right now. And unless you follow the whole program, it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. So we have a pre-breeding. Then you put your birds together. All it is 1 or 2 pieces of paper. Tells you exactly what to use. You're not going to believe it. You're just not going to believe what happened.
Tell me.
Oh. Well, the pre-breeding and all the programs we have coincidentally have the products we sell.
Wow.
Weren't we lucky?
Imagine that. I can't believe that. That's hard to believe.
So anyways, pre-breeding, breeding, young bird, after the breeding program, you're really pretty much going to let your birds rest. So we have all of these programs. We have a molting program also. If you call us, just give us your name and address. We'll mail it to you free. And ask which one you want. And like I say, it's pretty simple, but you're going to really love it. The thing of it is, so many people, I guess it's just like going on a diet. Do you know what that is?
Nope.
Never heard of it.
Nope.
Well, I used to weigh 300 pounds and I went on a diet. And believe that?
Yeah.
Well, you believe everything I say. But anyway, so many people like a diet, I suppose, get off course. Or maybe, well, it won't hurt me to do this today or that kind of thing. Follow the program. There's very little medication involved in the program. Dr. Botha from South Africa, world-renowned pigeon person and a pigeon vet, has set this whole program up. And using the program, we hope you'll keep your birds healthy and in the best of condition. So you don't use anything but what's on that particular program. And if something happens, we're not telling you your bird's going to be 100% healthy, but you've got a lot better chance. But if you do have something come up, then you contact us and I'll speak to you and we'll go over it. It also does mention when to vaccinate and how to, not how to, but when to vaccinate within the program. So, is that another question? Okay.
This is from Michael. The NutriDrops solved all my problems. Thank you again. Bird's really healthy now. If the OLR used this, they would less.
Less losses. OLR. Michael, what does OLR mean? Other, no. Sorry, Michael, but thank you very much for the compliment. We're joking with you, but we have got these kind of comments. The thing of it is the Nutri-Drops is not a medicine. It's a super duper immune system builder, and we suggest you use the drops when we think it's a virus. And we also suggest when you use the NutriDrops, use amoxicillin powder in the drinking water, because with viruses, sometimes what's associated with it is bacterial infections too. So you're using NutriDrops, and you can use NutriDrops with any medicine you have. Doesn't matter, any medicine. You use them at the same time. So what I tell people, use the NutriDrops as directed in the drinking water with the NutriDrops, 2 teaspoons of amoxicillin powder. You know what this one, you know all about this one, don't you?
Yeah, you just told me about it.
Go ahead. How's your memory?
2 teaspoons with the NutriDrops for 7 days. Then you're going to run 1 teaspoon of amoxicillin for 7 days with the NutriDrops, followed by a probiotic.
Damn.
How's that? Gotta pat me on the back for
She's
that
my
one.
protege. All right. We're going to have a long show today, I think.
Really?
Yeah, we're allowed to go overtime.
Oh. Who allows us?
Hmm?
Who allows us?
Veronica.
Oh.
I blame everything on. Once the doors close, it's Veronica's.
Oh. Oh, this is get back time then. Okay, this is from Olympia. What's the best grit for short-beaked pigeons? And best of luck for Gina.
Well, thank you very much for that. Now, we just sent her a bird, that's right. Short beak,
What kind of grit?
yeah, I'm assuming they're probably something like a satinet or an African owl. You want, all of our grits will work. If I was going to do it myself,
I'd put it in a bag and hit it with hammer.
pardon?
I'll put it in a bag and hit it with a hammer to make it smaller.
How about a rolling pin?
There you go.
But the white grit or the red grit from that we sell, I think would be best because it has the smallest of ingredients than some of the other ones.
Okay.
In fact, I don't know what the number is, but if Olympia, if you want, just call the store after the show, and Sherry will tell you which ones they are. The red and the white ones. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where are we?
Here's 7A.
Oh, 7A.
Quiz.
What we have been doing a little bit is asking questions, and there's no prize in this particular case, but it'll be interesting. I'm going to throw out 2 questions and see if you can answer them. My first question is young birds. I'm talking about young ones in the nest, or basically not in the nest, out of the nest. Why do they blink? They're blinking like that. Abnormally, you look at the young bird on the floor, and it's blinking. Why? Do you know the answer?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other one. If you are treating or think you have coccidiosis, why should you look at the medication ingredient? Look at the label and go right down. If you see something, don't use it. And what is that something?
Oh.
What do you think? Okay, I'll read the question again real quick. You're more than welcome to send in an answer. Why is a young bird blinking irregularly? Blink, 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 blink. And when you think or know you have coccidiosis, what is the importance of reading the label? And if you see a particular ingredient, don't use it for coccidiosis.
You got me thinking. All right.
Oh, You're up next, aren't you?
Who, me?
Yeah. Well, we can both do it. I guess we can both do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. We're going to talk about the sex indicator.
See? Everything's on this show, including sex.
You got it. And it all stems with this little teeny mechanism here. It is, some people swear by it. And what was funny is before we started the show, me and Jerry did it on each other, and it was right. I don't know how this thing does it, but it works.
We've had it for years, and people call and ask me or contact me, does your sex indicator really work? And my answer is, I have absolutely no idea why it works. It
And
doesn't make any
how?
common sense to me, but every time we use it, the damn thing is right.
Yep.
All right. So, you want to do it on me or
I
it
can
on
do
you?
it.
Okay. No, you can. I think you can wear the hat, but I'll take my hat off. Okay. And for you who don't know, I'm a guy. So what does it tell you?
That should not work. There it goes.
Back and forth,
Back and forth.
He's
And
a guy.
that's-
Now you
As a
are.
guy.
Now, this is what we did earlier. Let's pop it. Damn thing. Let it go. We're going in a circle. There it goes. I'm trying not to move my hand at all. It's going round and round. The longer. See? Faster and faster. You're a girl.
It's crazy. It
Mhm.
works all the time.
In case Rick asked, tell him you did use it. You're a girl.
I'm a girl.
So we do sell the sex indicator. I don't even know what they sell for, do you?
$11.
$11.
Yep.
And you get the set of instructions with it.
Yes. Tells you how to do everything.
I don't know how it works. Makes no sense to me, but darn if
Alright.
it doesn't work. Okay. I'll mention this one. I got two here, but we mentioned these shows, sales at the very beginning, and if you didn't see them, you can send us a question and we'll mention it again. We're running a pre-Black Friday. We're running a Black Friday, and we're running another one. That's the two right now.
Black Friday doesn't start till Black Friday.
And then we have a Black Friday sale. That's free sales.
The two pre-Black Fridays, one Black Friday, one Cyber Monday.
Okay. What's the last one?
Cyber Monday.
Okay. So we're going to have 4 sales. The only way you will know about them is going to our website. Is that correct? And the prices are there. We have some super sales on products that everybody uses, including, we just mentioned the oregano stem. We're putting that on sale. And one of the sales, well, I won't go through it all, but if you have a question about the sale, you may want to send a question in. The auction birds will be posted. Did I skip over?
I don't know. Fill in if there.
Oh, okay. The auction birds will be on the site next week for the current the auction birds, and the people who bought the birds at our last show, doesn't matter. But anyways, if you have a question about the auction birds, there'll be pretty pictures on our site.
Okay. I want to mention, we are now making mugs. And as you've seen earlier, this is my special mask that was made for me.
That's a pigeon's
And
beak.
it's a pigeon's beak. We also carry the Floyd's logo, a large and a smaller one. The smaller one is $12. This one is $15. And if you want a special one,
Well, I was just going to mention. I have a problem. You're talking. Oh.
And if you would like a special mask, these are $20, and you would have to, what did you say, Veronica? Take a picture and send it in,
You can order it on the website.
or on the website, but it has to be a very clear picture. And I'd also like to, you can see on the back there is a filter that goes actually into these masks.
Those added benefits.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know, are they sold separate, the filters?
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon, yes, she said that you can get the filters. We also have mugs, and it kind of works the same way as the masks. This one has, if you want your name on it, I lost sight of that, that is $12. If you just want the plain one, this one is $10. And again, if you want your own logo or picture of your bird on there,
Or
that,
a club might be interested in
oh
buying it,
yes,
yeah.
or a club, those are $18. And you would just have to, again, send in on the website your picture, or you can even contact us and we can tell you more about it.
And they also, if you have one that it's just anything you want to put on it, anything.
Yeah, like even the mask, like this here. If you have your own pigeon, you want a picture of your pigeon on here, you can do your own pigeon. Anything you would like, just as long as the picture is very clear.
Okay. I was going to mention the auction winners. We usually do this, I think, earlier in the show, but here we had 3 offers. One was a beautiful pair of helmets, capped helmets without the crest. Michael Sadler bought them for $135.
Nice.
And then Jorge Silva, who has purchased birds from us before, bought a pair of Serbian high flyers. The helmets are show quality. The high flyers are the best that you could probably buy in the world. The gentleman, I've mentioned him before, came from Serbia, and these are from his original stock from many, many years ago. And Jorge purchased them for $280. It was lively bidding back and forth and back and forth, and you have to do it in $10 increments. So it started low and went high, and I'm going to ship those birds out on Monday. I know it's Thanksgiving weekend, and I normally ship on Tuesday, but in this particular case, I'm going to ship the birds on Monday.
All right, and this is also Matt. He said, top of Ohio show December 19th, and what is that?
Bellefontaine,
Ohio is also canceled due to COVID restrictions as well.
So the show's canceled, or
Iowa and Lancaster. And again, I can repeat the new dates for next year. Iowa will be December 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The Lancaster is January 15th, 13th through the 15th.
thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, and we appreciate all of you folks watching. It's so well, encouraging, I guess is the best word. I get calls all the time at home. It's getting to the point, so many of those calls are people like you watching the show and maybe want a more in-depth answer, or maybe they were confused, or maybe they had further questions. So my home phone number, if you don't have a pen, I'll give it to you. I caution you, I spend more time here now than I have in the past. So you might want to call Foy's at the number that's posted in our catalog on our website. And if I'm not here, they'll send you on to my home. My home number, which isn't in the catalog, my home phone number is 724-843. I'm sorry, Tina used to catch me on this all the
I
time.
know.
724-359-5355. That's my home. And I mention it all the time. I don't answer the phone. Well, I answer it between 9 in the morning till 5 in the evening. I'm getting a lot of people over the last week or so. I got calls up until 10 o'clock last night. I don't answer them, and people get frustrated. And also sometimes when I'm not home, and I don't want to be bitching about it too much, but the customer gets frustrated. If I don't answer at home, they'll wait 5 minutes and call. Wait 5 minutes and call. Wait 5 minutes and call. And I'm not fooling. I've had as many as 10 calls from the same phone number all during the day because I didn't answer. You can't leave a message. All you do is call me. If it doesn't answer, it captures your phone number, and I promise you, I will call you back. Now I might call you in the evening, but that's my choice. Maybe I'm sitting watching a football game and look and there's a call and maybe we're so far ahead because we are the Pittsburgh Steelers who are 9-0 and we expect them to be 10-0 come Sunday. But if I've got the time, I will call you back. I've called people as late as 9 o'clock. Before I call, I always look at the area code. I have a page of all the area codes in the United States, in Canada. And if I see that it's 7 o'clock my time, well, it's 5 o'clock it's 4 o'clock in California, I'll make the call. But so I always make sure I'm not calling at an unholy hour. If I call you at 9 o'clock in the morning and you're in part of the state that is a 2 hour difference, well, I'm calling you at 7 or 6 in the morning. So did I go on long enough on that one?
Mm-hmm.
5. Did I mention I take
5.
9 to 5?
9 to 5, yes.
Wasn't there a movie, 9 to 5?
Yeah, with Dolly Parton.
Who else?
I don't know. I can't remember.
One wasn't one of them
Oh, I can see
the
her.
one that she protested the Vietnam War. Fonda, Jane Fonda was one of them. It was a third one. I don't remember that one.
I can see her, but I know.
We haven't had one person guess on this question we're asking.
Ah, wow.
I'll ask one more time, and if you don't know, I'll just have to give it to you. Why is a young bird, I'm talking about a bird that's out of the nest, not a baby in the nest, it's on the floor, it's recently on the floor, and you look, you can't figure out why it keeps blinking. And I'm not talking about blinking with one eye, because we're kind of joking. Blinking with both eyes. What's the problem? And there is a problem. You should watch out for it. The other one is with coccidiosis. If you want to treat for coccidiosis, read the label. There's something on that label that if it's there, don't use the product. What is it that you're looking for? Okay.
Wait a minute. I don't think we did that one up above.
To do that one, because that's for the few.
Oh. Uh-oh. This is from Phil. Coccidiosis won't respond to antibiotics. It's not a bacteria.
Phil is 100% correct. To expand on that, it's not a bacteria. I don't believe yes, it is. It's a protozoa. The bird itself, the coccidiosis itself it's protozoa, as is in canker and worms, but they do not respond to. They are not antibiotics. Phil was correct.
Yay! We need one of those sound things, like the.
You turn up the volume. Here we go, theaters. Here we go. That's for you folks. I think there's one down in Baltimore. They have a raggedy old team in Baltimore, and we're playing them next week, I think.
All right. Well, this question's from Tracy. We race over the ocean and in hot weather. What would you recommend to prepare the birds to keep them hydrated?
I'm wondering if that's Hawaii. It could be, because I know Hawaii races, all of their races are over water. And I'm sure local people have their own answer for that. But what you want to do is make sure that you're putting electrolytes in the drinking water. That will help prevent the dehydration. See, you learn new stuff all the time.
Well, they say you learn something new every day.
I'd be negligent if I didn't tell you this. Sherry's been with us for 15 years. There aren't many questions that she can't answer. It would be just like you if you worked in a a restaurant. If you worked in the same restaurant for 15 years, you would know something about every meal that's on it, and you can tell them whether you think it's good or whatever like that. Well, she's been with us 15 years. There aren't many new questions. They're all old questions, sometimes just asked in a different way. Sherry can answer almost all of them. And to back her up, all of our people have access to a health book, a pigeon health book, which I'm working on. But you tell her the symptom, starting with, what would you ask them?
Their droppings.
What color are the droppings? Yes. And what are their symptoms? You know, what are what are the symptoms? Your birds are sick, and tell us what they're doing, and it'll help us a lot.
Okay, and this is also from Tracy. If you use respiratory meds, could you also use probiotics along with it, or is it a waste of the probiotics?
I would have to check with a vet. I've had this question before. To the best of my knowledge, you should not mix a probiotic versus a versus an antibiotic. Pro and anti. That anti is against and pro is for. You try to mix them together, and what you've done is destroyed the benefit either way. So I would not do it.
Always use it afterwards.
Pardon?
Always use it afterwards.
Yep.
I think it's the answer to one of your questions.
Danny. Soldiers Loft Rollers.
Oh,
Yeah, the question. Danny, you are 100% correct. When a young baby goes onto the floor, you always have to make sure they know where the drinker is, where the water is. And if you see a bird blinking, in most cases that baby bird has not found the water. And you'll know real quick if that is the case. You stick its head in the water, the beak of course, and you'll see it gulping and gulping and gulping. That was the problem. If you don't catch it, the bird will die. It's not common, but it's not uncommon either.
Ah. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Danny. The other question we asked is, when you're treating for coccidiosis, you want to be sure something is not in the ingredients. What is that something? If you see it, don't use it.
I thought he answered it.
No, we didn't answer that. We answered the one about why is the young bird blinking.
I thought it was antibiotic.
You every once in a great while, Sherry, you're wrong. Once in a while, very rare.
Well, what was the one with the antibiotic that the guy just asked about?
No, I didn't mention anything about the antibiotic. The question on the antibiotic is that it's not a bacterial. That was a whole different thing.
Oh, I thought that was the answer.
No.
Yeah, I thought there was an answer to your question.
That is an answer. Coccidiosis, no. That's not answer to this. What I'm asking is, all of a sudden you realize, or over time you realize, that you have coccidiosis, and you want to treat against or to treat to cure the coccidiosis. If you have a product and you don't know what to use, and you think this might work on coccidiosis, because a lot of people, like Phil knows, when you treat for coccidiosis, you're not using an antibiotic. You're using a product that treats protozoa. So my question to you is, if you know you have coccidiosis, you grab a product and look at it, and look at all the ingredients. If one ingredient is there, you should not use it. What is that ingredient? And we got 3 or 4, 4, 5, 10 more minutes, and we'll answer that at the end. Don't let me forget, because it'll be your fault.
Well, why would that be on the ingredient if that's for a coccidiosis and you go down the ingredient?
Make sure.
Well, why would it be on the directions anyway if
No,
it's
a
not
lot
supposed to be on?
Yeah, that is correct. But a lot of people will use different medications, thinking that it might work. Okay, because when you buy 3-in-1, it's canker, coccidiosis, and worms. Well, make sure if it says coccidiosis, and it comes from us. I'm just telling you, somebody might give you a product, or you have coccidiosis and you're not sure what to use, so you didn't call Jerry at 724-359-5355.
Yeah.
I got it right the first time. But there are cases, and where we've only got 3 more minutes. Vitamin B, as in boy. If vitamin B is in the ingredients, it destroys the value of using it for coccidiosis. And you do point out that every once in a while I don't make myself as clear as possible. Now, you probably find that impossible to believe. I sat down yesterday, day before yesterday, and I wanted to write an article about the Legacy Fund Trust. I haven't mentioned that, but if you want to, I'll come back to what I was going to say. But the Legacy Fund Trust is a part of the NPA. When you send in birds or when you buy birds, you're helping the National Pigeon Association through the Legacy Fund Trust. I don't have time, and I'll try to remember the next show. There's a federal program being proposed that will hinder or totally eliminate the keeping of pigeons. And this is at the federal level. It's got that far. So my point being, the National Pigeon Association contacted us about that. Even though we're part of it, we're completely separate. And they told us about the program and had to send in a request like everybody else. They sent the request in and we approved the request, and the request was to help in funding to fight this program, which is now part of the NPA. We're funding it along with the American Racing Pigeon Union. We have a lobbyist in Washington, and we're currently fighting it. The American Racing Pigeon Union has put up $50,000 to fight it. That's how we know it's an issue. So when you send in birds that are for the auction, or you buy birds for the auction, you're helping fight this program. And you'll hear more about it. It'll be, my point. I sent an email to Veronica, and I says, I'm going to write this article, and it'll be about a half a page.
Probably 10 pages later.
But it was like I talked, Yeah, it ended up being 2.5 pages about the Legacy Fund Trust. So that will be in the NPA Quarterly. It'll be in Purebred Magazine, and it'll be in Racing Pigeon Digest. And hopefully they'll put it in to, even though it's a full 2.5 pages. I haven't written down articles for a long time, but finally did one.
It's 4 o'clock.
The clock on the wall
I know.
says it's time to say goodbye.
And I would like to wish everybody out there a very happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Wear your masks. And you can always send in your pictures and have a special mask made.
And the next show, today being the
It would be
20th,
December 4th, I believe you said.
December 4th. Once again, we always thank you for watching. We have fun doing it, but it does take a little bit of research and work, but I really do enjoy it. I hope that Sherry, in her heart, will see the advantages of having her and how important it is. I'm already starting to be my partner. I thank you very much, and if you're interested in what's going to be up for auction on our for our next show, we'll put those pictures up shortly next week. Is it okay to say goodbye now? Mm-hmm. Are we off already? No, we're still on. Oh, nobody's ever mentioned my hat anymore. I don't know whether you guys noticed, but I got a haircut yesterday.
How could we tell you had your hat on?
Oh, that's true. I've been going. I went to the same barber. I'll bet you 15 years. Then I rented my property across the street. Part of it was a barber shop. So last week I went into the barber shop. Now I've been going there every day, every time, because it's right across the street. And I thought he was a good friend. I won't go further other than to say, I walked in and I said, "Hi, buddy." His name's Casey. I says, "I need a haircut." He says, "I'm sorry." He says, "But we're closing in 5 minutes." Now, he's been there 7 years. I've given him every benefit I could. I pay all of it, but it doesn't matter. And he says, "I'm sorry, but can't take you." Well, that upset me. And I said, "Well, Tracy," I says, "I'll see you again, but probably never." I didn't go back to him. So I went to the barber in Rochester, Fritz, and went back to him. And I realized what I was missing. Fritz is so good as a barber. He's 75 years old, been doing it all his life since he was 15 years old. And I never realized what a good barber he was. He cut the hair in my nose, cut the hair in my ears. He made sure that both sides were correct, and he didn't complain about the previous buyer, but he says, "This one here is a little higher than it should be, so I'm going to let that grow out." So I'm back to Mr. Fritz. Only me would talk about cutting hair in